Hello everyone, welcome to LBS IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss economics MCQs based on previous year UPSC questions through this series. So let's start our session. Our first question is, which of the following is or are treated as artificial currency? Option A, ADR, option B, GDR, option C, SDR, option D, both ADR and SDR. The answer to this question is option C, SDR. Special drawing rights or SDR are an artificial currency instrument or an international reserve asset created by the International Monetary Fund in 1969, which uses them for internal accounting purpose or to supplement its members' countries' official reserves. The value of SDR is calculated from a weighted basket of major currencies including US dollar, euro, Japanese yen, Chinese yuan and British pound. SDR is neither a currency nor a claim on the IMF. Rather, it's a potential claim on the freely usable currencies of IMF members. SDRs can be exchanged for these currencies. American Depository Receipts is a depository receipt which is issued by a US depository bank against a certain number of shares owned by a non-US based company. While a Global Depository Receipt or GDR is a depository receipt which is issued by the International Depository Bank representing the foreign company's stock. Next is, an objective of the National Food Security Mission is to increase the production of certain crops through area expansion and productivity enhancement in a sustainable manner in the identified districts of the country. What are those crops? Option A, rice and wheat only. Option B, rice, wheat and pulses only. Option C, rice, wheat, pulses and coir cereals. Option D, rice, wheat, pulses, oilseeds and vegetables. The answer to this question is option C, rice, wheat, pulses and coir cereals. National Food Security Mission was launched in 2007 to increase the production of rice, wheat and pulses through area expansion and productivity enhancement, restoring soil fertility and productivity, creating employment opportunities and enhancing farm level economy. Coir cereals were also included in the mission from 2014 to 15 under NFSM. Oilseeds and commercial crops are also included under NFSM. Next is, which one of the following is not a feature of Limited Liability Partnership firm? That is LLP. Option A, partners should be less than 20. That is incorrect. Option B, partnership and management need not be separate. That is correct. Option C, internal governance may be decided by mutual agreement among partners. That is correct. Option D, it's a corporate body with perpetual succession. That is also correct. So her answer to this question is option A. Option A is incorrect. Union Cabinet has recently approved the amendments to LLP Act 2008 through the LLP Amendment Bill 2021. Earlier, LLPs did not have the benefit of either simplified regulation or ease of practice under proprietorship as would be provided now. LLP is a hybrid model of a partnership firm and a company, in which some or all partners have limited liabilities. Required number of minimum members is 2 in both LLP and partnership firm. However, 20 is the maximum number for a traditional partnership firm. There are no such boundaries in case of an LLP. An LLP observes perpetual succession while a traditional partnership firm does not. The internal governance structure of a company is regulated by Companies Act, whereas for an LLP, it would be by a contractual agreement between partners. Management ownership divide inherent in a company is not there in an LLP. Next is, with reference to India, consider the following: nationalization of banks, formation of regional rural banks, adoption of villages by bank branches. Which of the above can be considered as steps taken to achieve financial inclusion in India? The answer to this question is option D. 1, 2 and 3 are correct. That is, all the above statements can be considered as steps taken for financial inclusion in India. Financial inclusion may be defined as process of ensuring access to financial services and timely and adequate credit needed by vulnerable groups such as weaker sections and low-income groups at an affordable cost. According to the World Bank, financial inclusion means that individuals and business have access to affordable financial products and services that meet their needs. Accessibility, affordability, and availability of financial services are 3 pillars of financial inclusion. It's a method of offering banking and financial solutions and services to every individual in the society without any form of discrimination. Since independence, combined efforts of successive governments, regulatory institutions, and civil society have helped in increasing financial inclusion in India. Next is, consider the following statements. The functions of commercial banks in India include: statement number 1, purchase and sale of shares and securities. That is correct. Statement number 2, acting as executives and trustees of wills. That is also correct. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? The answer to this question is option C. Both 1 and 2 are correct. The functions of commercial banks are classified into primary functions and secondary functions. Primary functions include accept deposits, provide loan and advances, credit cash. Secondary functions include discounting bills of exchange, overdraft facility, purchasing and selling of securities, locker facilities, paying and gathering the credit. So, statement 1 and 2 are correct. Commercial banks perform various other functions. For example, they keep valuables in safe custody, that is, lockers, shares, debentures, GP notes, etc. They also act as executors and trustees of wills and exchange currencies of different countries for one another. Next is International Development Association, that is IDA, a lending agency, is administered by options are International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, International Fund for Agricultural Development, United Nations Development Program, United Nations Industrial Development Organization. The answer to this question is option A, IBRD. IDA is part of the World Bank Group that helps the world's poorest countries. Main objective of the IDA is to provide grants and concessional loans to world's poorest countries. Collectively, IBRD and IDA are known as the World Bank. IBRD earns income every year from the return on its equity and from the small margin it makes on lending. This pays for World Bank operating expenses, goes into reserves to strengthen the balance sheet, and provides an annual transfers to funds to IDA, the fund for the poorest countries. Next is, which one of the following is responsible for preparation and presentation of Union Budget to the Parliament? Options are Department of Revenue, Department of Economic Affairs, Department of Financial Services, Department of Expenditure. The answer to this question is option B, Department of Economic Affairs. The budget division of the Department of Economic Affairs in the Finance Ministry is the nodal body responsible for preparing the budget. According to Article 112 of the Indian Constitution, the Union Budget of a year is referred to as Annual Financial Statement. It's a statement of the estimated receipts and expenditure of government in a financial year, which begins on 1st April of the current year and ends on 31st March of the following year. In Parliament, the budget goes through 6 stages, that is, presentation of budget, general discussion, scrutiny by departmental committees, voting on demands for grants, passing of appropriation of bill, passing of finance bill. Next is inclusive growth as enunciated in the 11th Five Year Plan does not include one of the following. Options are reduction of poverty, extension of employment opportunities, strengthening of capital market, and reduction of gender inequality. The answer to this question is option C, strengthening of capital market. Inclusive growth means economic growth that creates employment opportunities and helps in reducing poverty. It means having access to essential services in health and education by the poor. It includes providing equality of opportunity, empowering people through education and skill development. It also encompasses a growth process that is environment friendly, aimed for good governance and helping creation of gender-sensitive society. As per OECD, inclusive growth is economic growth that is distributed fairly across society and creates opportunities for all. Next is in the parlance of financial investment, the term bear denotes. Option A, an investor who feels that the price of a particular security is going to fall. Option B, an investor who expects the price of a particular shares to rise. Option C, a shareholder, a bondholder who has an interest in a company, financial or otherwise. Option D, any lender, whether by making a loan or buying a bond. The answer to this question is option A, that is, the term bear denotes an investor who feels that the price of a particular security is going to fall. Recently, the many Indian indices including NSE Nifty index have entered into bear market territory in the backdrop of coronavirus pandemic. A bear market refers to the market where share prices are continuously declining. Its downward trend makes investors believe that the trend will continue, which in turn perpetuates the downward spiral. It is considered riskier to invest in a bear market as many equities lose value. Thus, most investors withdraw their money from market. During a bear market, the economy slows down and unemployment rises as companies begin laying off workers. Next is economic growth is usually coupled with options are deflation, inflation, stagflation and hyperinflation. Here answer to this question is option B, inflation. A growing economy or increase in the supply of money in the market causes demand pull inflation. That is, increase in money supply enhances purchasing capacity of consumers, which leads to increase in demand. When consumers feel confident, they spend more and take on more debt. This leads to a steady increase in demand, which means higher prices. That is inflation. Inflation and economic growth are parallel lines and can never meet. Inflation reduces the value of money and makes it difficult for the common people. Inflation and economic growth are incompatible because the former affects all sectors as indicated by consumer price index.